Case 303, just going through these, the scale on a map is 1:6 million, meaning that the real life distance is 6 million times bigger. On the map, it's 6 centimetres from Perth to Kalgoorlie. So the real distance is 6 million times bigger, which is 36 million centimetres. Now, you need to slowly bring that down to kilometres. How many centimetres in a metre? 100. So drop 2 zeros to go to metres. How many metres in a kilometre? 1,000. So drop 3 zeros to go to kilometres. So therefore, the distance from Perth to Kalgoorlie is 360 kilometres. Now, for question 3, the distance from Sydney to Penrith is 55 kilometres. Okay, distance from Sydney to Penrith is 55 kilometres. This is a real distance, is 55 kilometres. What scale distance? The scale distance is the distance on the map. Would this be on a map with a scale of 1:2 million? A scale of 1:2 million means that the real thing is 2 million times bigger, or your map is 2 million times smaller. So the map is 2 million times smaller than the real distance. So the map distance, or the scale distance, so the map distance will be 55 kilometres divided by 2 million. But before you divide, change how 55 kilometres looks. Now, 55 kilometres is 55,000 metres, because 1,000 metres in a kilometre, right? But then if you want to change that to centimetres, so what we're going to do here, 55 kilometres, we're going to times it by 1,000 to get it into metres, and times it by 100 to get it into centimetres. That means adding 5 zeros to put it into centimetres. So that many centimetres, divide by 200,000 is, and your answer will be in centimetres. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 5. Sorry about that. So we've got 55 kilometres divided by 2 million, basically, because the map is 2 million times smaller. If you, it's best to change the 55 kilometres into centimetres, because what we're trying to do here is work out the distance on the map. Now, or on your piece of paper. On your piece of paper, you're going to be measuring in millimetres or centimetres. So it's best to convert that 55 kilometres to centimetres first, and it's 5.5 million centimetres. Then we'll divide that by 2 million, because the map is 2 million times smaller. So therefore, the distance on the map, or what we call the scaled distance, is 2.75 centimetres. For this map, find the scale factor. So has someone measured from the 0 to 120 kilometres? I think someone said they did, and they got 3 centimetres. So part A, we've got 3 centimetres ... 120 kilometres. Now, how can I simplify that? What do you think 1 centimetre is then? What's 1 centimetre represent? 40. Because we're dividing by 3. That's okay, even though the units aren't the same. But if you want to tell me, look, we can leave it like that, or we can write it. See, there are 2 ways to write scale factors. That's one way. Or I can convert the 40 kilometres into centimetres, and I'll be able to work out how many times bigger the actual distances are compared to the map. You're going to have to make the units the same. So what have we got? 40 kilometres, let's change it into metres. How many metres in a kilometre? How many metres for every 1 kilometre? 1,000. So I add 3 zeros. Are we okay with that? That's in metres now. But I need to go to centimetres. How many centimetres in a metre? So basically, Now, the only reason I'm allowed to add zeros, so what I want to do, what I've just done, I've gone 40 kilometres is 40 times 1,000. That takes me to metres, and times another 100. That takes me to centimetres. You okay with that? I'm going to metres by timesing by 1,000. Once I'm in metres, metres to centimetres, I times by 100. So it's 1 is to, how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is to 4 million. Once the units are both centimetres, we can drop the units. Okay, you don't drop the units until they're the same. So this actual scale factor is 1 is to 4 million, meaning in real life, the actual distances are 4 million times bigger than what's on that drawing there. So, part B. Now, it says find the distance in a straight line from Sydney to Katoomba. You don't have to use this scale factor down here. You don't have to use that. You can just use 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres if you want. If you want, or we can use that scale factor. Let's see how we go. Depending on the distances we're going to get, okay? So, Sydney to Katoomba, has anyone measured the straight line distance? But they asking the straight line distance. So if they want the straight line distance, you just measure the straight line distance from one to the other. I'm getting about 2.1 or 2.2 centimetres. Straight line distance from Katoomba to Sydney, I'm measuring between 2.1 and 2.2, or roughly, yeah, 2.2. Seems to be 2.2. So 2.2 centimetres on the map. But what is that? Every 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres. What should I do with this number? I don't have to times it by 40,000, 4 million and change units. What does that equal in real life? If every 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres, what do I do with this number? Times it by 40. Every 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres. You know you've got 2 centimetres, so it's going to be more than 80 kilometres. What you can do, you can just use this conversion if you want, but when you times it by 40, you have to write kilometres. Okay? So it's 2.2 times 40, which is, what is it, 8.8? Sorry, no, not 8.8, 88 kilometres. Every 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres. You don't have to use the 1 to 4 million and convert all your units. Every 1 centimetre you measure is 40. So it's just 2.2 times 40, but it will be in kilometres the answer. Okay, so it's 88 kilometres. All right, Newcastle to Nowra. Where's Newcastle? Up there. So this is a bit of a longer distance. Newcastle to Nowra, whoopsie, you can measure your, I don't know what you're getting. So I'm getting 6.1 centimetres on the map. So what's that in real life? 6.1 times 40 kilometres. Is it 246? So 244 kilometres is the real distance. Goulburn to Gosford, you should be able to do those on your own now. Goulburn to Gosford and Sydney to Cessnock, you can do on your own later. And let's just do part C, because you can do the others later. We want the town that is 92 kilometres from Sydney. Now you're going to have to work out how many centimetres that's going to be. So how are you going to do that? 92 kilometres, real distance. What's that on the map? What do I do with that number? Well, here's your scale. 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres. What should I do with this number? Divide it by 40. So I'm going to go 92 divided by 40, and what do we get? But that answer will be in centimetres on my map. 2.3. So I'm looking for something that is 2.3 centimetres from Sydney. So you can go Sydney, put 2.3, well, don't think it's Katoomba, we already did that one. Could be Mittagong, guys. Have a look at Mittagong. I think it is Mittagong. Yeah, it's Mittagong. Okay? So we're looking for something that's 2.3 centimetres from Sydney, and that looks to be Mittagong. We okay? So that's how you do that. Now the next one should be nice and easy. Two towns that are exactly 40 kilometres apart. What's your scale on your map? 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres. So you're looking for two towns that are how far apart on your map? Two towns that are 40 kilometres apart. If the scale is 1 centimetre is 40 kilometres, you're just looking for two towns that are, 1 centimetre apart. 40 kilometres real is 1 centimetre on your map. Well, it's either, it could be Mittagong and Wollongong, or that looks pretty good. Mittagong and Wollongong do look like they're 1 centimetre apart. Katoomba and Penrith, they could also be that as well. So, looks like there could be a couple. Looks a bit small. Looks more like 0.9 Katoomba to Penrith. But Mittagong and Wollongong looks like exactly 1 centimetre. So let's go Mittagong and Wollongong. Okay. Look, within measurement error, oh no, does look good. Katoomba and Penrith as well. So Katoomba looks to be, and Penrith as well. So you could have had two answers there. They would accept both. Okay? Question 5, by measurement and calculation, find the real length. What is different about that scale? 4 to 1. What's the first number represent? The drawing or the map. And the second number is the real length. So, in other words, is the drawing bigger than the real ant? Yeah, we'd hope so. Okay? So, in other words, the real ant is how many times smaller?
4 times smaller.
Yeah, so the real life ant is 4 times smaller than the drawing. Or we could say, because the scale is 4 to 1, normally the scales say 1 to 4. But because the bigger number's first, the first number is always the map or the drawing, and the second number is always your real distance comparison. So let's measure what this ant is here, and I'm getting, looks like I'm getting 2 centimetres or 20 millimetres. Let's go in millimetres. Because if I put 2 centimetres, it's better to go 20 because I'm going to divide my answer by what? So the drawing equals 20 millimetres. So the real length of the ant, we're going to divide by 4, remember? So it's good to put it in millimetres because my answer for my ant is 5 millimetres. So when you think what sort of units your final answer is going to be in, that's what you should put your, before you divide, that's what you should put those units in. So rather than choosing 2 centimetres, I chose 20 millimetres because I knew I had to divide it by 4. It's easier to do 20 divided by 4 than 2 divided by 4. Well, I could have had half a centimetre, that was the other thing. Or I could have had, I've got 2 centimetres is my drawing, which equals 2 divided by 4 centimetres, real, which is half a centimetre. I could have done that if I decided to measure in centimetres. Are we okay? But millimetres, like if it was, say, 21 millimetres, we would have kept it in millimetres. All right, so we could have done it either way, okay? But they're the same answer. All right, if you can now have a look at question 6, here's your scale, 1 centimetre to 10 metres. So they're not asking for the ratio, the scale factor. So you don't have to go 1 is to 1,000,000 or whatever it might be, or 1 is to 10,000 or whatever it's going to be. You can just answer the questions for question 6. So they just want to know the length of the field, the actual width. So they want the length and the width, the scaled length. So scaled length, do you know what that is? Scaled length. The one that you measure. Then they want the actual width and the actual length. So your length looks to be 9.3. So this is your scaled length is 9.3 centimetres. And your scaled width, did anyone get that? What's your scaled width? Yep, 5.5 centimetres. So it should be nice and easy to do your actual width and length. So what's your actual width? Sorry, spelling error. Actual width is width. 5.5 times 10, and it will be in metres. It's 55 metres. And your actual length, the length is, oh, whatever. And your actual length is, what do we get? 93 metres. Okay, and then from there you could be asked questions like finding the area and things like that, all right?